Hey, it's philzGoodMan. So far, I've been playing with the non-FPS based movement setting turned off. And if you don't know about the setting, I have a video about it. But anyways, I felt like with the setting turned on, the game felt less responsive, like my mouse inputs didn't feel as good. But I do see a lot of value in the setting. Overall, the frame rates felt a lot more stable, but I could also turn down the graphics settings because I do not need to push super high FPS. I also found a way to mitigate the input lag problem by using NVIDIA's ultra low latency setting. I'll show you guys two games where I drop a nuke using SMG. First game with non-FPS based movement turned off, second game with the setting turned on. And why the nukes? First reason is just for fun, and second reason is because I don't go for nukes that often. Primarily because I like to respond in chat, but now that anonymous mode exists, it does make it easier for me. Although I'm not the most mechanically gifted player and these lobbies weren't particularly difficult, showing two nuke gameplay examples does allow me to make a more direct comparison. At the end of the video, I'm going to decide whether I'm going to keep the setting turned on or leave it off. I'll leave you guys with the gameplay for now, but I'll hop back on in between games for some analysis. And what you're seeing on screen right now is with non-FPS based sliding turned off. Not a very hard lobby, but I'll take it. I mean, if you look at the scoreboard, you can see how low the scores are of my opponents here. But the thing to pay attention to in terms of the setting is just kind of the spacing of the jumps. They're not as big as it would have been if I had the setting turned on, but that also allows me to have a little bit more control because I can get in more jumps more easily. Apparently it looks like KPD, nowhere to be found because this guy thinks that I'm a hacker. The other thing that I want to point out is mouse control and frame drops. The mouse control felt really good, super responsive, basically what I'm comfortable with. If you look back at the footage, you can see several cases of frame drops, and that's just kind of how it's been. So now I'll be comparing that with game 2, which is played with non-FPS based sliding turned on. And as I mentioned before, having the setting turned on definitely stabilized my frame rates, just made everything feel a lot more stable. Maybe not necessarily in terms of frame drops, but in terms of screen tearing and stuff like that, it definitely helped out. And what I did before this game was turn on a setting called NVIDIA Ultra Low Latency, which you can find in the NVIDIA control panel. And previously it was not really usable. You had to get as high FPS as possible to get that movement speed advantage. But now I can actually turn the frame cap down, get the same result, more or less, or closer to the same result, and offset the input lag problem with ultra low latency mode. So let's see how it goes. So this game was just as much of a bot lobby as the previous game, but there were definitely more shotgun noobs to avoid. So I guess it's a wash in terms of the difficulty level. But anyways, if you look at the footage, first of all, you can see pretty much no frame drops. Really smooth gameplay, so I'm liking that aspect of it. And also just the jump distance and the slide distance is definitely increased, even though I was playing on pretty high FPS the game before. Looking back at the footage, I did feel like I got adjusted to non-FPS based sliding faster than I thought I would. There was a bit more input lag compared to having the setting turned off, but that was definitely reduced a lot with NVIDIA ultra low latency mode. The consistency of the graphics is really nice, but the feeling of the mouse control is just not quite as good as with the setting turned off. So what's the winner between non-FPS based sliding on versus off? The winner is non-FPS sliding turn on, and that's the setting I ultimately ended up with for a variety of reasons. The thing that non-FPS sliding turn off really had going for it was mouse control and also having shorter jumps and not feeling so floaty. In terms of the mouse control, having ultra low latency mode turned on definitely helped, plus just me getting used to it really helped as well. In terms of the jumps, the thing that I'm trying to do more now is perform a short hop by jumping while still holding shift, and I'm also trying to be in ADS more, so just holding down right click and moving around the map. That way I can have like full control of if I want to move fast around the map versus I want to make like quick cuts. There really are a lot of benefits to having the setting turned on. Overall, gameplay was just a lot smoother with less frame drops, less stuttering, less screen tearing, and I don't need to turn the graphic settings down and inflate the frame rates to be getting fast movement. But actually the number one thing for me was the consistency of the actual gameplay. So previously when you hop on Krunker, the game always feels like a little bit different depending on the frame rates that you're getting. And now, although it's not like 100% consistent, it just feels a lot more consistent than the way it was before, where, you know, if you do a certain move, it's gonna perform the same. In the end, I'll be keeping the setting turned on, at least for now. There are definitely some nuances to it, and it might change in the future. I had one comment that was left by a member of PhilzClan, and he did a lot of research and he found out that he was able to actually move faster with the setting turned off, because he was able to get in more jumps as he was like rotating and then generating speed. So I think it's still too early to say whether one is definitely better than the other. But for me, the pros outweigh the cons. I hope you guys enjoyed this gameplay analysis, and thanks so much for watching until the end of the video. I may be posting less in the next 30 days, but don't worry, it's good news. I'm getting married, and there's a fair amount of planning that goes into it, but I'll be back in full force after that because there's a lot of really exciting things coming to Krunker, like the Steam release and mobile and a whole lot more. So thanks again for watching. Please subscribe, use code PHILZ, and I'll see you guys next time.